Going on, people? Welcome back. Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to the stream. It's been a long time, but we are back. How's your morning going? How's your trading session going? Welcome back. Yeah, man. Looking at this GU position last night, right here, and I was telling my fiance, I said, I should take this short. I think it's gonna fall. Maybe try and retest this low from yesterday, but I was like, it's not my session. I'll let it go. Well, got close. But we'll get into that in a moment. At first, let's do this. Disclaimer real quick. Alright. Trading any financial market requires a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. You should only trade with money you can afford to lose. Proper risk management is essential in trading all financial markets. If you do not have an understanding of proper risk management, it would be best to educate yourself further before beginning to trade. The content I provide is for general information purposes only and as well as entertainment and should not be interpreted as advice, investment, financial, or otherwise, as I am not a financial services provider. However, if you choose to follow along with any of my trade positions, you do so at your own risk. I'm working on learning to do that like the Micro Machines guy. Just fast. Anyway, stoked to be back, man. I feel like I haven't traded in forever. It's from like Friday, Saturday, Sunday to Monday. It's only been 4 days, but man, it just feels like a lifetime. No news today. Hope if I turn the chat on. Michael, what's going on? CJ, Pockets, what's going on, guys? Always happy to have you in the chat. How we doing? Lost today in GCAN and GK. Down 5% for the month. That's not that bad, though. I thought you were going to say for the day. Then I'd be like, yikes. That might be one you want to pull back on. But for the month, that's not bad, man. I'm down about 2.2, 2.3% for the month. I consider that flat just because one win for me is like 4%. You're in you're short GU, up 3.2%. Yeah, it's been a tricky month, man. You're kind of like, I'm sure some people are crushing it, but I think for the most part, everybody's just a little bit flat, a little up, a little down. What's going on, Jorge? How are you? Good morning. I like GU short still. I don't see any reason why not. Why would you go against it? Why would you call a bottom? If it keeps falling, let it keep falling. Break and retest. You know? There you go, right through the zone here. On the daily, you're clearly breaking down. I would say you're at least trying to target this structure low, at least because you kind of broke through this level, like right here. You see how this was like a level, and now you like broke through it. Maybe you come back and like retest there at some point, but I mean clearly you're breaking down, so you're gonna at least try and test structural lows, something like that. And if not there, then down here as well. So yeah, I would not be looking to buy this anytime soon. Just keep letting it fall. Let's start from the top. AU is what a beautiful little candle this looks like on the 4 hour to me. Nice 2 candle engulfing, kind of breaking this whole structure here, like this whole sideways consolidation, breaking down. To me, you can see how like overall it wasn't an uptrend and it's gone sideways. So that's not a bad little breakout structure. You may see more continuation to the downside. Dollar index done a full reset here on the hour, 4 hour, breaking above these structure highs right here. You can see how you're like kind of breaking through it at the moment. So see how it handles this. But look at this trend line rising, RSI rising above. So it's like fanned out on the RSI or on the TDI, which is how you would like to see if you use EMAs. You like it when they're fanned out like this because it like shows trend. This is just showing upward momentum. So dollar index, I would say, keep rising, then you're going to see AU, EU. You might see EU try and come to a full reset here. ADR, nice little downtrending structure on the 5-minute. You can see already. Break, retest, break, retest, break. Now you're doing a retest right here, like this low potentially. You still have space on ADR. ADR is about, from where you've been, it's about 15. From where you are, I guess that's about like a little over 20. Yeah, 26. So a little bit of space on ADR, but you can see 5 minutes got some nice downtrending structure. So stay short bias, see what happens on a pullback into this zone. AU, plenty of space on ADR for AU if it wants to come lower. EA, but waiting for this thing to break out, man. It's still not breaking out. This is like the most annoying thing I've ever seen in my life. Look at this on a 4 hour. I was looking at this earlier, or the daily, excuse me. Look at this. Look at this shit. What is this? How do you trade this? This is ridiculous. This is what we're dealing with. That's why it's gotta wait. Just gotta wait for it to break out. Definitely, you know, still love it to the downside, man. It's a great selling condition. It's just looking like it's trying to come lower and potentially test these lows because it's been falling. I would not stay away from a short overall breakout, but until then, it's 50-50. You don't know. Microphone is not as clear as it used to be. Let me see. Maybe it's not turned up as much. Maybe something happened. Check, 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 check. Can you hear me now? Is that better? Oh my God. You know why? My bad. Damn. Check, check. How's that? Holy shit. That's terrible. It was a bad start to the week. I appreciate the feedback on that. Here we go. How's that? I think I was using the one that was the one that's just on my laptop. Yeah, sorry guys. Sorry about that. All right. Were you able to at least understand what I was saying? Basically what I was saying is that, you know, this has just been ranging, chopping. You can't even find a trade on this yet. It's just still up and down in this zone. Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't even realize that it wasn't plugged in. I should have maybe paid attention to that. We're a little rusty. We've been a little rusty. It's been a couple days. GJ's, you know, retesting this low right here. It's kind of just bouncing right now. Still like it to the downside. Missed a lot. All right, well, we could go back over it again. We got some time. We're saying AU overall looks like it's been in this uptrend, and this is kind of a consolidation. So you'd still like to see potential to the upside, but as you can see here on this TDI, you've broke down, and then that reflects on the lower time frames of what I was saying here on a 4 hour. You got this really nice 2 candle that kind of looks like it broke this whole structure. Like you kind of had this line here that we had drawn from like a lower time frame. You see how you break under it, and now you're kind of like retest down, kind of pins to it. Now you're pushing down. So I still would like to see AU come to the downside. I mean, I don't see why not. That seems sensible to me. Right now, it's just kind of, it made a low, and now it's just pulling back. So you'd like to see it continue, potentially come and check this low or go further. That makes sense to me. You can see where it's at right here. Just kind of like, if I was to like ballpark it, something like this makes sense to me. You know, where do you have the most touches at? Something like that, you know. So you kind of hit it, bounced on it. And then you have some space to go. ADR. You still got plenty of space on ADR. It's a little divergent. That's why it's like checking off at the moment, but I wouldn't
be buying it. I still would say to the downside. When we looked at the dollar index, what I was saying is that dollar index definitely looks like it's moving higher. You can see higher high, higher low, higher high. Not right now, but it's been making uptrending structure. You can see right here. It's just at these highs, trying to come through this level right here. Um, so I'd still say, oh, and then the TDI, what I was saying right here, as you can see how it's just kind of like fanning up. You have like price action, which is the RSI, then you have your trend line, then you have your, your liquid 50 market sentiment. It's all moving up. So you want to stay with that trend. Now, of course, there can be pullbacks and corrections. But for now, you definitely want to stay long biased. Everything's rising. And as that rises, you could see AU drop. You could also see EU drop. Now, the thing we were saying about EU is that it's only got about 26 pips left in its ADR, but you can see it's definitely was in an uptrend, but it's starting to make downtrending structures. You have a high here, you have a lower high, you have a lower high, you have a lower high. This is a lower low. So now you want to come and at least test these lows, because if it is coming lower, it has to at least, for the most part, come and check this area to see if there's resistance, which will raise it up as buyers step in, or if there's enough sellers that are just going to drive it through this price level. And if it does, then it would break the level, retest the level, and then potentially continue further. So definitely to the downside with USD quote pairs for me, in my opinion. GJ is kind of hitting a level right now almost. You can see how it's made a high, made a lower low, lower high, technically lower low, lower high, lower low. Now it's coming back and it's at this low right now. So it's got a little bit to go. I still like it to the downside. It's still got space on ADR, plenty of space on ADR. From where we've been, it's got 40. From where we are, it's 61. So there's definitely space in this pair to make a move to the downside, and I definitely still like it to the downside. So I'm going to stay short biased on this as well. And then GU, I was looking at this last night. It was like, forget what time it was. It was right in here. No, that's a lie. It was up here. Sorry. It was up here at like, I guess 8 o'clock or so, something like that. I was seeing this kind of like break and retest and starting to like fall through. And I was like, oh man, I could probably put a stop up here above this structure and see this thing come and retest these lows. That would make sense to me. And I probably would have done about like 3R, something like that. I looked at, I think it was like a 12 pip stop. Go for like 36 pips, grab 6%. I still like it to the downside. Right now, it's a little divergent here. You can see just from these bottoms, just like that. Just a little divergent. Um, so it's correcting at the moment, but I still like to see it come to the downside because, again, USD quote pairs to the downside. It's clearly falling, you know, so you don't want to go away from that until it starts to make uptrending structure. Still falling. It's not oversold. Maybe slightly divergent from like back here 2 weeks ago or so, but clearly just break, retest. Like, so stay short on it, in my opinion. Because that would have happened yesterday when, if you came into the market in like London and you're like, oh, look, this thing's breaking up, making higher highs. It made a low, now it's making higher highs. This thing's probably just coming back into the zone. And it's like, nah, it just fell. Why? Because it's just falling. Just stay with it. So we're going to do that today. We're going to try and look for a place where we find uh, resistance and see if we can sell it down. If it presents, if it doesn't, then we won't. And then EA is just chop. I think that's what I said when I first got the mic plugged in. It's just, look at all these daily candles. One, even here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 potentially. 12 trading days of just sideways. Now, yeah, this was a little bit bullish, this is a little bit bearish, but it hasn't even broke this zone. Still like it to the downside to try and come and check these lows because it's overall been in a downtrend. So I'd like to sell it, but where? How? You know? It's just sideways. So that's where we're at today with it. Yeah, I do like this short. See if we can find a pair that we like the best. Don't know what it is. News as far as today goes, there was news just 15 minutes ago on CAD. I don't trade any CADs. Pretty good. Anybody else looking at anything that's not on my watch list? Anybody else been looking? I know a lot of people like to trade ECAD. A lot of people like to trade AN. Well, choppy. GCAD. That's a nice downtrend to me. Just that GBPs are down. Breaking out. Break and retest this top of this structure right here. Pushed off it. Now it's maybe checking the bottom of this structure to maybe try and come lower. GU hanging around at break even. Yeah, it's definitely in a it's at a moment right now where it's kind of just like consolidating. Like you could even take it as like this whole structure right here. Like I wouldn't do that. Well, because you see the pins down here, so it's like that to me, kind of. It's just sideways for the moment. I like to see it make a break, just like we do when I get on these 5 minute, and you can see right here like the trend line, like they're kind of just like going away from each other at the moment. So it's not the best time to sell. It's not that's overall in the downtrend. Just right now, you could see a little bit of correction, but you're still making, And then if you're a trend line trader, you would see it something like this. Like, oh look, it's still making potentially lower structure at the moment. Like this, boom, boom, boom. Maybe it holds here and comes lower. 5 minute. 5 minutes moving up a little bit, correcting off the divergence. You can see it had a little bit of divergence down here. Like that. Basically what you had is a descending channel that actually just happened to hold. Broke it high, came back into it, did the same thing from here, ironically, and then broke it high, and now it's like kind of like this. If you wanted to draw it like that, then maybe you say it broke it. If you like use the tops like that, then maybe you would say, oh, this is a breakout. See how it's holding the liquid 50 market sentiment, holding it, trend line rising with it. Maybe it's breaking and correcting to come up to these highs. Like I said, I still like it to come in downtrend. Pockets, it's not really. I saw two setups on EU the past couple of days, like 20% worth of trades. It's just been funny market. And then of course, for me, not trading Friday and not trading yesterday on this pair. This was Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this was Friday. Not like right in here. It's early for the session, but might have been able to find like a 5 minute or something in here. It fell because it was breaking out. So I definitely would have been short buys because you see it broke, and that's where I made the money on Wednesday. Thursday, this is where I got chopped out. I got chopped out in this area, and then yeah, right in here is where I got chopped out, thinking it was going to break to the downside. And the trade from Wednesday at 60 was my entry right here, and the stop, and you can see how it came right back and retested 60, which was my entry in here. 75 was my stop. Had I held that position from 60 even here all the way down, dude, I had two standards on that. That's $4,000. Now obviously I'm not going to hold it through the weekend. I'm not holding it through the weekend. It's just not how I trade. But you can see that the stop up here is 75. The original stop loss was safe all the way at the top. Never would have broke that stop. So this Wednesday entry wound up being a breaking out entry. It broke, consolidated, broke, retest, break, retest, break, and there it is. So that's a huge move with two lots on it for 4 grand, but it's just not how I trade. And I didn't see that trend coming. You know what I mean? It was still, to me, still just kind of choppy. Like short was coming down, and then maybe that's why I need to be on higher time frames, and not always be stuck in there. But again, this low from the previous week was still what I was looking to try and get to, and what it did was it broke through it, came back up, was rechecking in this area. You would find position on the lower time frames of where it's like finding its resistance, and then just broke through kind of these bottoms here. So cool, man. Really, really good stuff. So now you see it trending, and then I was like, today I was like, oh, I hope it doesn't correct today, because I'm looking to take it short. I hope today isn't a correction day, but try not to trade it like that. We just try and trade it like, okay, like 4 hour candle looked like it was kind of engulfing. So let's see if it just kind of holds for 4 hours and then keeps going. So we're gonna stay short biased on all these pairs. Stalling a little bit here on the dollar index in this area. Kind of hit it. Now it's like falling down a little bit, but still like it to come higher. So I like all these other ones to come lower. EA, I'm not even gonna look at EA. EA is like the worst of them. That's going all the way down here. I don't even want to click on that. Anybody get into anything yesterday, today, anything like that? I know CJ's in GU. Hopefully my mic's not too high now that I adjusted it. See if I can fix this real quick. Check, check, check. There you go. That's pretty good. Stupid trade, which I forced on GJ yesterday. Yeah, it looks like it might have been a little choppy. It made this double top in London. Oops, I already had it blown up. Right in here. Hit it in Asia. Hit it in London. And then just kind of broke through right here. And then fell and then came back. Would have stopped you out here at this, if you took this entry as like an igniting and you put the stop above it. If you didn't get your profits, this would have stopped you out, but it doesn't break the highs. It's a lower high technically, and it just kind of fizzles. So it is a little bit rangy. I'll be honest about that. GJ is a little rangy over the last little bit. You can see it right here. Something like that. Just a little rangy at this low, because price is never waiting on EU for a reversal or continuation. Heard. Price is never always, and sometimes it lines up. You're like, look at this, it's exactly there. It exactly hit 60 on GU where my entry was. Sometimes the market is like that, as we all know, but sometimes it's not always exact. Sometimes a little above, a little below. That's why zones are helpful as opposed to like a specific price number. And right now, even though like it looks like it's kind of moving, as you look at it for what it is and you connect highs and lows, and you go, it's kind of just ranging. Let's see if I can get it to break this range, and then we can get a position going. And that's the same thing that we saw here. If you were to draw it like, something like this, like kind of trying to break the highs, comes back in, try to break the lows, and then finally right here, you're like breaking out. And then once you break out, it consolidates and then it goes into a range again. So it's been a little choppy after this big momentum from earlier in the month just fell off, and now you're just kind of in this range. And I think that I was saying that earlier last week, if I remember, that you might just see it bounce between this high and low here, like boom, 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 like pinball. Just kind of stuck. You see it better when you're on like a higher time frame, when it's this type of range, just up and down through it. And maybe it's a little tighter, maybe, but it's kind of roughly. And that, don't get me wrong, doesn't mean that there's not money in there. If you're buying down here, you're making money right now to the upside. If you're selling up here, you're making money to the downside. So there's money in a range. It's just it might have to be in and out. You might not get the full move that you're looking for, like that breakout, like you saw in GU, where it just like breakout, breakout. When you look at it on the higher time frame, it's just so much cleaner structure, real nice. We'll see what happens. Definitely still like it to come lower. Daily, clearly it's falling. Weekly, bearish engulfing candle from 2 weeks ago. Kind of came up through wicks, came down, through wicks, came down, kind of engulfed this candle. So like a reversal. So now maybe you're coming down to this. Now it doesn't have to get there 1, 2, 3 days in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row. It can kind of dink and dunk its way down to that level, but you know where you're trying to get to. Now the idea is to find the most probable timing to get in there to carry yourself down. This is definitely, you could see even, like we said, with this trend lines kind of just breaking to the upside on it. Yeah, breaking up for the moment. We'll see what happens when it hits up here around 123.9 or 122.90 to 12300. See how it deals with the Asia high and see if it just comes and retests this bottom. Because it could just come back in to this zone here. You know what I mean? Like this is like a Asia zone, like the first couple hours of the day. And if you extend that out, you could see where it broke it, retested, tried to. Now maybe it's trying again, see what happens. Right now it's correcting up, so you can't short it just yet. So you gotta let it play out and just give it time and see if the trend kicks back in. If it feels like you're going to not be able to hold your position, there's nothing wrong with cutting it early. Take a really small loss, keep that loss small, and then just look for a better position later if one presents. A little bit divergent on EU as well. I would, as it just immediately sticks out to me like this. Man, I'm rusty. Draw these lines a little better. Something like that. Kind of just like this descending channel. Something like that. Kind of just down, but chopping down. So see what happens. Does it break, hold, and then move higher? Nah, we want to see this thing come lower. Clearly broke these lows here. Got stuck right here at this low from the 25th. Let's go to a higher time frame so we can see a little bit clearer. You can see that there's definitely some type of support here with the double pins and the reversal, bullish engulfing, kicks it off to the upside, comes back to recheck the lows, throws a pin, can't get lower, kicks up. Now it's what do they call it? It's like a cup and handle. I don't know any of those patterns, but anyway, you can see it's falling, which is great. Now it's just correcting. Let's find an area of resistance, and then look to take it lower. I'm not looking for this thing to come higher right now. You still have these extreme lows down here. It just got stuck right here for the moment. Sure, yeah. I mean, you know what you've risked, and if you feel comfortable that hey, I've risked X% and I want to see this trade through, and you don't feel that you're completely wrong in your bias and your stop loss has the potential to hold as a level of that's above resistance and you could still maybe take drawdown, but the trade could still work out for you, then yeah, that's how you feel, stay with it. Not wrong with that. Nine o'clock hour, gonna get a 4-hour candle here. We'll take a look through, see how everything shaping up on the higher time frames. All right, so start at the top. Like we said, AU had this really nice candle. It broke down, but now look where it came right back to. It kind of came back to like the bottom of the open of that candle. So it opened, closed here, opened here, drove through, came right back to the open of that candle from 2100. So let's see if we can get a candle that drives down now. That would be nice. On an hour, it's pulling back in, a little choppy. You can definitely call this chop, but I still like to see it come to the downside. It's breaking up at the moment. Let's see what happens. See if it finds some resistance in here. 4 hour on, it should be, it's got to be there. It was on a counter. EU on a 4 hour, you had this nice kind of broke down, kind of consolidated, and then now it's continuing. It's falling. Okay, so looks good. A little bit of rejection here on that last 4 hour candle. You can see how it kind of drove down, but you could still see that come lower. Could keep an eye on it. Hour, 30-minute. Okay. Yeah, I still like it definitely to come lower. You can see on the 5-minute, as we said, you're making nice structure. And you can see how the EMAs are fanning out if you use EMAs. But even if you don't use EMAs, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. This is a even, it's not always a perfect stare, but you're still creating downtrend. So what you want to see right now is you don't want to see it stall and then come higher. You want to see price kind of like show you a pattern through for more momentum to the downside. 1 minute. Almost divergent here, kind of close to call, but you can see, so it has moved into like a buying condition. So let's see how, let's keep that in mind just for, I don't really use the 1 minute too much, but we'll see how that holds. See if it kind of like breaks, goes sideways, and then starts to fall off. GJ, I don't, oops. GJ had a nice push down, but you can see how it's holding this trend line. So I would like to see a nice candle drive through if I was trading this 4 hour. Again, holding. It's still in a selling condition. It's a little bit divergent. It's choppy, but I still want to see it try and come lower. It's just in this range, and you can see how the trend line is like rising up with it. You want to get through that. You want to be under it. So it's not the best looking setup at the moment. Yeah, you can see it's just kind of like ascending channel. GU on the 4 hour. I think we said that. Kind of looks like EU. No, I think we did go over GU. And EA, it's a kind of up, down, up, down. Do you expect up for the next one? I mean, it's kind of falling over a little bit on the hour. 4 hour, same on like the hour. But like, again, this thing's just so rangy. Like, nice 30-minute 2 candle engulfing. That's not bad at all, actually. And see how you look at different time frames, you see it differently. And when you get the picture together, that's not a bad little thing. Come down, consolidate, throws a 2 candle, bearish engulfing. It's falling on like the TDI. 15-minute bearish engulfing. But I just don't want to trade this pair just because it's not super clean. I'd like to try and stay with this GU EU setup. I need to see how if it gets through this trend line, so it might have to like come down and show me that it's holding this level down here first, because this is still just kind of like choppy. You're breaking sideways out of this 1 minute ascending channel for the moment. Now let's see if it like breaks into it or if it starts to like scamper sideways. Look at, you can see this nice rejection on the 15-minute as I tried to, it's just pinned to the 50, holding under it. Again, not the greatest selling look that I've ever seen. I'd rather see it like this where you're falling through it. Much rather see it where you're like under it, like back here, and you see how much more like this kind of pattern, like engulfing, you know what I mean, like kind of reversal, get in, stop up here, and then just falls even more, because look at how you are under everything. So it's a much cleaner rip. When you're kind of in the fold here, you can get the fall, but oftentimes it's not as great, especially when you start to create a little bit of divergence. So I'd want to see it get itself in a more better looking selling condition, because right now it, you know, obviously you want to sell high and buy low, that's the idea, but this is more of like a gamble at the moment, because this doesn't tell me that it's in a good position to be taking it short yet. So we'll wait on it. It's only 9 o'clock. Stock market hasn't opened yet. We've got lots of time. Space on ADR for these pairs. So we know we're not, you know, the higher it pulls up, you know, maybe it sets up better on the TDI. Who knows? Just keep waiting. Get a little. Oh. Just do like we always do. Wash, rinse, repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat. See right here on a 5-minute. Came down, checked it. Now it's like coming back up a little bit for the moment. Let's see how it handles these highs. It's definitely like, TDI is like rising. TDI is making uptrend structure. But, you know, 5-minute charts they're great, and they're also can be a detriment too. They're great to get you in early if your higher time frames are aligned and you're getting that, you know, breakout early. That's great, but sometimes if you're seeing a correction, then maybe it can like mess with your head to think that like price is actually reversing where it's just correcting. No luck?
No, he definitely took both of them.
There's no way.
They're 100%.
EU could be in a wave 4 pullback. I'm waiting for a good high test. Now that is not my language, but I will learn about that. But that's really cool. I'd like to know what that means. I'm waiting for a good high test. Does that mean like up here? Like you're waiting for a test up at this high? I mean, if how I would draw a level, I would see like this is like the floor, you know? So it kind of like hit a low, came back, broke it, retest. Here's potentially like a short to the downside. Lower, higher low. I'm still learning myself. No worries. It's always good to expand your knowledge. So we could always see how it handles back when it hits here, because you can certainly see it come back here. You know, if it breaks this high, then you would see it come up. But again, as it's correcting, just let it correct. See where it finds resistance, and it starts to show you bearish signals, because you know it. Here's the deal. I'm gonna be straight with you guys. This is still in an uptrend. You know, this is still in an uptrend. Came down. It's holding EMAs. This is still rising in a buying condition. EU is still very much in an uptrend. Okay, it is intraday falling, but it's funky right now because it came up and now it's consolidating. Yeah, it's definitely coming lower, and it looks like it's falling off, but overall it's still in an uptrend. On the weekly, like it broke out, so it's like break, chop, and then push. Like this is a weekly, so it takes forever, you know what I mean? But you cleared the zone, you're at the highs, now you're chopping, you are divergent, it's been falling, you're in like a corrective channel, you're in a descending channel, it's rising up. I don't really know, like I like to say falling because the dollar index has been rising, and you can see that it is definitely, you know, making, like I was saying, it is definitely making some lower structure. But overall, you can't deny that it's moving up. This, if you use the TDI, this is buying condition. You know, it's rising higher, showing you that the sentiment of the market says that EU should be coming higher. But intraday, you could make money short. But now is this changing direction? I don't know. Dollar index falling back down, and then I guess you would say that dollar index has, you know, been falling, and now it's kind of correcting, and then maybe you see it hold, and because this is still in a selling condition, falling through right now, as we said about like GJ and GU and these pairs, you can look at the TDI and say, well, this isn't the greatest time to put a sell in just yet, but you know, so maybe that's why you're seeing this upward momentum. It does look like it's trying to come higher. I don't know. That's where it went. Once you start to get contradictive of your analysis, that's when you know the market's kind of like just choppy. When you can see it on the daily, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 15, it's all saying the same thing, and you're confident, then it's like, all right, great, I understand it. But once you start being like, well, it looks like this, but then it looks like that, that's not a good sign. You start to get contradictive of your analysis. I want to be consistent with my analysis. That's how I feel more confident in my entries. Here you go, right here on a 5 minute. Look at this, bullish engulfing, pins back. Now you're starting to show more momentum. This thing looks like it's coming higher at the moment. You can see the rejection. 2 candle, clearly, like breaks the zone, comes back, engulfs, comes back, and then in the last, you know, however many seconds, now you're pushing up. Seems like we're kind of correcting out of this downward phase right now. Keep an eye though. It's, again, stock market can open, things can change. Came back into this zone on EU. not the best time for selling at the moment. You can see here on GU pushing real hard out of this zone. It should it should break back, like it should come back down and retest at some point if it's going to keep moving higher. But you don't want to say higher. You want to say, and downtrend. I don't want to go away from that bias. Still in a selling condition, still falling. You've clearly been making downtrend. At some point, of course, you do have to correct, and profits are taken, buyers kick in. So you don't want to naively sell. But this is clearly not a buying market. This is a selling market. So if you can't find a clean sell, then you just don't trade it. But all signs right now are just pointing to upward momentum. So you gotta let that momentum play out. Yeah, it just fizzled at this bottom. One, two, three touches, starting to push off it. Every time it's hit this level, it's up. Hit this level, up. Hit this level, up. I want to stay with it though. For now. Same thing here. Just hit the lows. That's all. Double bottom from yesterday. Yesterday's low came back, checked the low. Now it's kind of just pushing off, but still look at. I mean, if you understand TDI, this is still very much selling condition. Maybe it comes back up here around 20ish, 120, 320. Kind of test the high, test this structure here, kind of like break and retest, and then maybe it's trapped between this level. I still want to say to downside on it is clearly this is a downtrend, and then ultimately you would want to see it come back down to these lows. But this, if I extended this, oops. See how it's like overlapping, like right into it. Funny. From all the way back here, and I know this is a while ago, this is back at the end of May. But you can see how it kind of just pinned down to it. But it still has potential to come lower. Just right now it's kind of correcting. Can't deny the divergence. You see just a little bit divergent. GJ, wow. Really moving. Like we saw it. Broke up. Came back down. Bullish engulfing right here. Kind of off support. Wicks back down. Can't break lower than this structure, as you would expect. And then starts moving higher. You wouldn't expect it to break that structure if it is indeed rising. You expect it to move off of that, because it would be like here. Higher low. Comes up, makes a high, makes a low, makes a higher high, makes a higher low. So it should not come below this. If it's truly in trend, that's how you swing high, swing low type stuff. Like you put your stop here, and that's why it's safe, because it should not come back if it's indeed making that structure. The issue is when it's not making that structure. And that's when you get stopped out. And they're like, oh, the market, they know where my stops are. I'm just not in trend. $10 for the stock market. Dollar index looking like it's falling pretty nicely, which is going to raise up these dollar quote pairs as we are looking to try and sell them. This New York session, man, has just been, it's not been kind to me. It's been very up and down, win, lose, win small, win, lose small, win big. Yeah, this thing's just, see what happens. Like I said, I mean, intraday, I still like to see these pairs come lower. So we're just going to wait and see. Give it some time. Let's look around. Oh, excuse me. Let's look around at other pairs. Nothing's happening here yet that we can really do anything with. Let's see what's going on. Choppy mess. CAD Swiss. Breaking out. Kind of falling. You can see how you're under everything. Comes down to this pin. Not a guarantee, but you know, looks like you should be coming lower to like try and check these lows down here, right? Low, low, broke, retest. Now you're starting to fall away from it. Like maybe it comes back through here if it's got the mustard. Come back and check yesterday's lows. See how EG is the opposite of the pound. So as the pound goes up, this goes. As pound goes down, this goes up. Great move in London. Beautiful. Triple tops. Divergent comes down. Consolidates. You'd expect momentum to the upside, but it doesn't. Starts breaking to the downside. As that happens, GBP is going to start reversing as well. I was fearful that this might happen today, and like I said, the day's just starting in this session, so it's not a guarantee that they're just completely reversing for the day. But I was afraid with how much momentum there was that there's going to be a correcting day coming. I was just hoping that it wasn't today. You can see like the divergence kicking in. Now you're starting to make like a higher low instead of making lower lows. Now you're making a higher low, pinned back down to this area, showing like pushing away from it. It's still clearly in a downtrend. I don't want to buy this. Oh, here, there's a line we had drawn the other week. I mean, look at this, like just break, retest, and it starts falling off. CAD. This may be from the CAD news. Maybe got it moving a little bit. It's like 8:30. Nothing really happened in there. Yeah, GBP is looking at the moment like it's just moving against its previous trend, but let's see if it's just a correction. We're getting up towards the Asia highs right now on GU. NZD pairs. Just ugly. UJ. Not sure. Gold falling off. Breaking my heart, man. I just want to trade. Let's see. Divergence building at the moment. You can see you're starting to build. Check my tele. Ah. Definitely check that out. Gotcha. Dope. Dope, dope, dope. Whew. Yeah, coming right back up here to the you could see how like it fails to keep it starts making uptrending structure. Like it fails to break these lows down here, and then each low, like this is the low, this is a little bit higher, this is a little bit higher, this is a little bit higher, this is a little bit higher. You can start seeing like, oh wait, we're making uptrend structures, and it just took off. But that's what you want to look for. You want to see it start. You know, I guess that's how you could say that you could see a reversal coming. You know, it's making a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, not a lower low. And then right here where it broke out, I guess that was indeed a good breakout. Pushed up, retests. Again, not always exact. It's not always to this line because this line is arbitrary. But you can see it just comes right back up pretty much candle for candle. Comes down as much as it comes right back up. But holding on this trend line, which is rising, so you're like, oh, I can't sell it yet. So then if you were inclined to take a reversal position, you would get in here with a stop here for like, you know, 12 pips or 13 pips, looking for like 26. You'd be around like 19ish right now for me, because I trade 2R. But I don't want to trade reverse anymore because that really hurts my P&L. Yeah, it does look pretty cool. I wonder if that's how what's his face trades. Geez, I draw a blank. Can't remember his name right now. Karim. 9:30 approaching. Stock market's about to open up. Take a look at the 30-minute chart. We said on EU, you're definitely coming back to like a retest. So let's see. Let's see how it holds. And see if it can find this downtrend to like bring it back down, or if it's indeed still in this uptrend. GJ. GJ's kind of breaking out of this. You can see as it was falling, but then it started making this like ascending channel, and then sometimes that's corrective, and then it breaks to the downside, but instead it broke to the upside. So let's see what happens if price pulls back and uses this level as support then potentially, and then drives higher or falls back into the chop. Breaking out of the zone on GU. That I think we had said this was kind of like a zone like that. So now you're breaking above it. So now again, if you broke above it, it's either going to scream away and just push higher, or it's going to come back and retest it and either then show you more momentum that, okay, yeah, I'm actually going higher, or it's going to fall back into the chop. Dollar index. It's right back at this area. Again, price is never always exact. It is divergent. It is breaking the ascending channel. I'm sure you can see it. Draw it real quick for you, just in case you don't. Kind of like ascending, like that, roughly. Broke it. Now you want to see it again. The opposite of what we were saying for the other pairs. They're all making the same exact things because they're all like dollar correlated, except for this one. Gotcha. I'm with you. I just remember from before when I traded with him. I think that's how he did it. EA, for the fun of it. What's this thing doing? This thing's just a mess. This thing doesn't know what it's doing with itself. Talk to me about hotkeys. Is that a gap down? Question mark. Like pushed up, then it opened here, so I guess that's a gap down a little bit. 25,000 and a half. Looks like it's rising. Stuck. Consolidating. Kind of like hit a low, came back, hit a low. Still buying condition. Who knows? It's all fugazi. That's why I don't trade stocks. Even this, I mean, this is all fugazi too, but I understand this a little better. Currencies aren't companies. Currency goes to zero, it doesn't matter. The world's probably over anyway. Company goes to zero, whatever. Next man up. Right back up to these highs on the 5-minute. Interested to see how it handles up here. If you start to see momentum to the downside, I guess I'd like to try and take it to the downside. GU all the way up at the Asia high. Not yesterday's low, Friday low. Friday low, today Asia high. There's consolidation in this area, so obviously this area is of some significance as this struck a low. Kind of chopped through here yesterday and chopped through there in Asia. Now you're back to it. So this price is definitely of some significance. Because if it wasn't, price would just push right through it, you know. divergent. I wouldn't trade it short yet until I started seeing like downtrending structure. I would presume that would make sense to me. Because otherwise, it's just going to keep, even though it's divergent, it's still just going higher. This is, and then, like this is extended, so you're going to see a correction, but then it's a correct down, hold, and then move up. It's kind of hard to sell this with this TDI. Dollar index just falling. No news. Nice clean market. A little something at 9:45 in like 10 minutes. A little mid impact on Chicago PMI. Shouldn't really shake up the market. A little bit here on 10 a.m. with consumer confidence. I mean, they shouldn't really do much. Powell's testifying at 12:30. I'll be way out of the market by then. But right now, looks like these pairs are ripping higher as the dollar index is falling. It's going to be a difficult day, it looks like. Not going to be clean. Man, just really just broke this zone and just hasn't looked back. Yeah, I mean, that's, you don't see that coming. And if you do, teach me. You know what I mean? How do you know if it's, I guess just because, like I said, I mean, I guess I kind of did see it coming because I was afraid that with, 1, 2, 3 days of drop, usually you get a little bit. I was thinking maybe sideways, but it's just completely reversing. So we'll see if it finds resistance somewhere. Because it's like, okay, if it's going to come higher, then it's going to come back down and check a level. And if it's going to keep moving higher, it's going to show me bullish signs. If it comes back and then shows bearish signs, then maybe I could still take it with the trend, which I'd like to do. I don't want to trade a counter. Yeah, this is still rising. It's divergent, but like you can see how it's just holding on this TDI. It's just rising. Yeah, dollar index just falling off, man. Triple topped, divergent. You can see how this is draw it the same way. You know, This is rising, this is falling. Not a great position to be buying. Damn, man. This is like so annoying. This market is just trying my patience these last 4 weeks. Right back to this low from Friday on GU, structure low. Maybe I should have took this damn trade last night. Up here, just been in and out. Just trying to stick to my session. Yeah, Michael, it's definitely weird today, man. It's definitely just being. They're like, oh, Andrew's coming to trade? Screw around. Nah. Again, I still like pound to the downside. I don't want to go away from that bias. The question is, can I find a clean entry that's worth my risk? I mean, 2.5 minutes left, and you're getting pretty nasty rejection right now. Right here, like price drove all the way up here and pulled back, 14 pips or so. See where it closes in 2 minutes. Again, you're right here. Look, you're right at the top of this Asia high. Price pushing above it, but holding here. This is also Friday's low. I would like to see this area be held as a resistance, like break and retest. This didn't, this also retested, which is why it fell off and then up. It's trying. So let's see what happens. Let's give it some time. Give it a couple candles. See if it fills the wick and continues higher, or see if it keeps throwing pin. If it throws more pins up here and shows weakness, then maybe we found ourselves a top, so to speak, or a spot where we're finding probable resistance where we could try to continue this downtrend. The market's in a downtrend. I don't want to buy it. I see this big momentum to the upside, but I don't want that to be in my head like, oh, it's we should be buying it. I want to stay with this clear downtrending structure. This is clearly in a downtrend. Understand that we might have hit a bottom here, but to me that might not be. That's just one specific, that's not overall structure low. Overall structure low is like down here on a daily. This is just where you had the break. It broke up, came back, and then started moving. So that definitely a level of interest, something you want to pay attention to. So I want to see what happens. I like that rejection. Okay, cool. I like that we're divergent. Clearly divergent. This is a high, but this is lower. Okay, this is not a great place to be buying it. Okay, bet. Now, come up and try and check this high. Show rejection again. Maybe looking like a double top. Maybe I can find a potential entry to get in to try and get it to come back down, into this area in here. You know, if I could get a entry up here with like a 14 pip stop and then get it come down 28 pips into here, then bang, I hit my 2R. But I have to see a clear, valid reason that this is actually rejecting and going to continue in its downtrend and not just going to fill this wick and move higher. But again, what you would want to see is price come up and check this high and be under this liquid 50, something like that. You know, then you'd be like, okay, that's weak. And then start showing me downtrending structure. I'll get in on like a 2-candle breakout and I'll probably try and take it back down to the downside. I think that makes sense. That's how I'd like to see it play out. But if it doesn't show that, it just keeps giving me bullish momentum, then that's whatever. I missed it. I can't trade it. I don't want to trade it long. Like we said on GJ, break, retest to continue higher, or is it going to fall back into this and continue chopping? EU. Let's keep an eye on EU and GU. So here we go with EU. Again, broke up, pin, came back down. Now you're using this level potentially as like support to come higher, or is it going to find more resistance here and then start to fall back down? Because it is, again, this is, you know, it's certainly choppy. I'm not going to deny that it's not choppy, but it's kind of intraday to the downside. Selling condition on the TDI is telling me that it's, you know, more favorable to the downside. So I want to try and stay with that. We're divergent, much like GU here. Clearly divergent. You can see it's making higher, but this is staying flat. See how it does as it comes up to retest these highs. Oh, cool. Can switch it like that. Everybody chilling? So as this 15-minute trend line pulls up, if you can find like a settling and then it crosses through like this back here, you see what I mean? Like when you find a high and then as this is pulling up and then it settles and then it free falls. See how they're trend line falling, RSI falling? I'd like to see something like that. But this could be, you know, break and use this support to come higher. But again, we want to try and stay short biased. I like GU better because the GU trend is much cleaner than EU. So I'm going to try and stay with this to the downside. Like no lie. Rejecting again for the moment. You still got 11 minutes, so anything can happen. But it came up. It's rejecting a little bit. I'm gonna play it slow, but I'm definitely looking for a short position. I don't want to jump the gun. I want to see price start to show me on a lower time frame that it's making downtrending structure. Right now it's not. So I don't want to jump in just yet. I need structure to start to tell me what it's doing. But again, we're staying with the trend. Trend is clearly down. So we're going to look to try and take a short position if it presents that way. Again, holding Friday's low, holding Asia high, starting to pull off of it. We do know that it could push up, come back and find support, and then come higher. We do know that, but We like the overall time frame of a downtrend on all the time frames. Clearly a downtrend. Pinning back to the 50 here on the hour. Let's just see how it closes. The more rejection, the more probable a short entry. Back into trend. Came up, came down, consolidated. I want to see what happens. I want to see more rejection. Come up and fail to make a high, you know, a higher high, and then start to, who knows, maybe it just falls and I don't get that what I'm looking for, but I know what I need to see. Because right now, at least the way that I understand and the way that I know, like, I don't know that I could sell it right here just yet because it still has the potential to come higher. Breaking down a little bit on EU at this high. You can see break and retest is starting to fall off a little bit. GJ coming back to our trend line. GJ's already like starting to try and make structure off that divergence. Starting to make like lower low, lower high, lower high, lower low. It's starting to make structure on GJ, but GJ's a little choppier. Got time. No rush. Watch and wait. My big concern is I want to make sure that this doesn't come back and like it pushed to the upside. I don't want to see it come back and correct and then find more momentum to the upside. I want to see it really show me that it's done with this push and it's going to come and fall back down. Again, I'm not inclined to buy it either, so I'm not looking for like a continuational pattern here to the upside. Yeah, trying to come lower from that 30-minute candle we talked about. If EA starts to move lower, AU might come higher. Broke down on EU, now we're sideways. Off the divergence, broke, consolidated, broke, consolidated. You're starting to make structure now, see? Just starting to look like you need to come up now and make like a lower high type of thing, because now you're break, sideways, sideways. So you're making, and I guess you could say this is technically a lower high, but I'd like to see it, check these highs, but like fail and then continue. Maybe it won't do that. I don't know. Ba, 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 ba. See how GU holds this level right here. Because again, this could, as you were to look at the 5-minute, makes a high, comes back, finds like an apex point, and then does it come back up to check the high? Or does it just like fall off? Right here on the 1 minute, now you're starting to create structure. Now is this an entry? Is this like a bearish engulfing? Is that worth an entry? I'd have to put my stop all the way at the top. I can't trust it here. This thing still could potentially come up. I don't think I want to take like a 30 pip stop. I want to see if I can find something a little tighter than that. I don't, you know what I mean? Like I'd have to be above this pink, so it could easily just come back and try and fill that, And to get 60, I got to get all the way under this. I'd rather have it where if it's just going to chop, I'd rather be able to hit my take profit in this. That's my opinion. Maybe I miss it, but I don't know that I could take that, because it could still just as, and again, if it is going to be good and it's going to come back and retest it and it'll give me a better entry with another structure, and then I know that that structure is good and I can just put the stop above it. But right now I don't want to take a 30 pip stop. Now, does that cost me money? I don't know. It's just, again, I'm being cautious. It definitely looks like it's moving lower on these pairs. Again, I don't know that I can trust 18 as a stop, maybe like 20 pips. And I don't know that this is going to hold. EU falling nicely. $40 and we get like a new hour candle. GJ showing momentum to the upside real quick. See if it comes in. Again, GJ's choppy. It's not really the ideal one I want to trade. I want to get on like EU or GU. It's a pretty nice 5-minute candle on EU, kind of like breaking back into here. So I want to see how it holds here. You can see like you're falling now. Might consolidate sideways and then fall more. Dollar index. EU has a high test and a bearish engulfing forming on the 15-minute. I see what you're saying. 4 candle, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is engulfing. Put a stop up here maybe at like 20. So you got like a 15 pip stop. Yeah, I mean, I understand. And that makes a complete sense of what we were looking at, you know. I just want to make sure that, yeah, dollar index you can see is starting to push. EU is going to be falling off. Here comes AU. It's trying to work its way back down as well. I just want to make sure that it's not a break, a retest and find support and then move and then continue this move, this impulse, because it's impulse, correct impulse, you know what I mean? Like, so I want to make sure that it fails at these highs, because I can be late, but if I'm early, I'm going to get cranked. And I know that there's still potential for this to come up. So if it's indeed going to come down, it's going to fail again at these highs. And then I can be like, okay, I feel a little bit more confident in that. And I know that the structure is sound. This isn't, to me, like confirmed sound downward structure yet. There's still potential for this to, like you said, kind of correct, hold here, and then maybe push a little higher. I love the rejection that you're seeing on the 15-minute. That's great. That tells me that sellers are strong in this area. But I want to make sure that it's solid first, and not just like people taking profits, comes back and more buyers enters in, and then they drive price back up, and then my stop gets taken out for nothing, you know. I'd rather be late. I'd rather miss it, because I know that if it's good, it's going to show me what I want to see, and then I'll get in and then try and make some money. 1 hour 50 EMA, I saw that too. Let's take a look at the hour. You can see here on what Pockets is talking about. Still, it falls right back into this zone here. Look at this hammer, if you will, I guess. Like, see how it just pushes all the way up and then comes down, and it's like just this little. That's a good sign. I mean, that sellers are driving price back down. Similar with GU, but it's still kind of bullish at the moment. Dollar index. See how it, again, this hammer kind of just pushed up. Now, I don't know that it's going to not come back and like try and test some of this. So that's why I just want to make sure that it's secure before I get in. Like, yep, okay, this level's tested, confirmed. Now we're definitely moving lower off of it. ADR is at 170 something, 1.1177-ish. So, you know, 40 pips or so from where we are. So if I can get another rejection, because see, like, impulse throws pins, people are taking their profits, comes back down, now you're getting this impulse again. to check these highs on the 5-minute, like I said. You might see it come back, check this high. What I want to see is it try and get to this high, fail, and then start to fall off. Make a lower high. Start to show me reasons that sellers are heavy in this market and confirms the structure is indeed coming lower. Because right now I'd be in major drawdown. I'd be like, oh, I'm about to get popped out. You're losing all this money because I don't want to be impatient. I know what this market could potentially do. Impulse, correct, and then continue upward. But I don't want to take a long position. And that's also what I said. Like, I don't want to take this 2-candle. I don't want to take this breakout. I don't want to take this 2-candle long because I want to come short. Overall trend is short. I don't want to ride this correction. I want to see this act as like a lower high, chop, 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 bullish, bearish engulfing, and take it back down. That's why I'm being patient. Yep, hammer, gotcha. See how it's filling it for the moment? Coming right back to check this level. If this level does indeed have the sellers that we're looking for, it's going to reject again. And then I would feel double confirmation, more confident that this level is indeed resistance and price is going to fall back into this fold. And I'm not inclined to look for a buy here and continue up because I want to stay with the trend. If it doesn't present, then I don't take it. That's fine. Then today's just a flat day. But I'll be damned if I'm going to just jump in something early just because I want to see it fall. You need to wine and dine me. You need to take me out to dinner. You know what I mean? you ain't getting it from me unless you show me something I want to see. I've lost too much money in this game, man. I know the game now. I know what it does. And yeah, I still lose, but definitely lose a lot less than I used to. Yeah, see? As this 15-minute trend line is kicking up and it's getting ever so close to the RSI, it's going to do one of two things. The RSI is going to use this and hit the trend line and then bump higher, or it's going to curl over it, something like this, and then you're going to get your fall off. Or, like I said, it'll come and do something like, I don't have an example right here. I don't have an example to show you. I can't find one at the moment. I guess like this kind of right here, how it just comes down to it. Instead of falling through it, it uses as support and then pushes higher. So that's why I want to see what it does up here as these two start to meet. And again, I didn't want to take, you see what the trend is. It's breaking up. Okay, it should probably come back, retest, and continue higher. That's what it should do if this is a strong correction that's going to continue. See, I'd be out of this trade right now. But I don't want to trade long. I don't want to take this breakout right here at 09. I don't want to take this 2-candle here at, 13 or so. Even though you would say, oh, well, look, your stop was only like 10 pips and you're already up almost your position. That's not the trend. The trend is short. You can see right here, it's a higher high, but it's lower on the TDI. So now I need to see more rejection. If it doesn't, then I can't get in. Just because it's higher doesn't mean that it can't fail off. Because again, price isn't always perfect. If you had a short up here now, or at least if you had a short in here, and like we said, your stop is above here, you're out. I'm out. I'm down 2% right now. If I took this little breakout right here that I said, I need more confirmation because I know price can come back up and check this high. Why would it not? It's an uptrend short term. On a 1 minute, this is an uptrend. Come down, find support, push back up, check the high. I need to see rejection twice, at least double confirmation. Now, if this thing sucks down again, comes into this fold and leaves another wick, I'm feeling a little bit more confident that sellers are in the market. EU dollar index got to be falling. Yeah, see. Breakdown, retest here might be like a 2-candle bearish engulfing in 4.5 minutes. We'll see. That would maybe continue to trend back down. We'll see. We'll see what happens in 4 minutes. This could peel back up and wick. All kinds of things can happen. Really strong. Kind of resetting on the 5-minute to 800. I knew this was the potential for it. I definitely felt like that was what I might see. Because it impulses. People are taking profits. It falls back down to a level. Buyers come back in, drive the price up. See what happens in 3 minutes. See if it just pulls down. But nah, look at this thing. Not yet, at least. And again, you're still on the 1 minute. You're still in a buying condition with this market sentiment. So even though it's divergent, that just means that it's going to correct. So it corrects off the divergence, finds support, and comes higher because it's still in a buying condition. And maybe I could have made money long, like I pointed out, but I really wanted to try and stay with this trend. But let's see what happens with EU here too. Right to the trend line. The corrective channel breaks the channel, comes back, tests the channel, pushing higher. It's very choppy right now. This is so simple. You think I should be making a lot more money, but I'm just a little bit too conservative anymore. Two minutes. Damn. God darn. Well, market doesn't lie, man. Break, retest. Yeah, I didn't want to take it long. I didn't want to trade it counter to what it's been doing. But I did say to myself today that you could potentially see correction because it's just been falling so much and I haven't been on the market to trade it. So my luck, this thing is just gonna like correct. Yeah, see, higher. Filled the wick. EU still stalling at this level. Dollar index bearish engulfing. Came down, retest, bearish engulfing. See if it holds. Looks like it's kind of fallen, doesn't it? Still in a buying condition, so it could come up from here. It's divergent on the 1 minute. It's falling though on the 5 minute. Could potentially see a reset here. It is a little bit divergent, but this is still not set yet. Until a candle locks, it's not really set, so it could still keep falling. Chart tells me it's falling. I don't want to go against that. Is there any news or what that candle, why does that candle look really big on GU? GU's just got the juice. There was the 10 o'clock, somebody spoke and there was some consumer confidence and that last 15-minute candle. So maybe that had something to do with it, but Chicago PMI, it's just, that's just what GU, the pound has that potential, man. That's why I like trading the pound, but pound's definitely volatile. Look at this shit, man. Damn. Breaking out on the 1 minute, you can see. It's starting to break out. I can't trade this pair. It's too choppy. But we were looking at that 30-minute right here. Remember I said bearish engulfing right here at 9 o'clock? And just chop sideways and then drop more. It was in a selling condition. Looked like it was falling. Now it's starting to fall. AU is probably moving up. Yep. Tell you, man, I should be making a lot more money than I am. Look at this GJ. Psh. GU. Divergent at the tops on the 1 minute. Structurally, a higher high. TDI. This says weakness potentially. I don't know if I could sell it from here though, man. We'll see. It's just breaking levels, you know. So now if it does come back, you might see it come back and test Asia high because it broke through for a new high day. So now does it come back and test, you know, in this area and then continue? Or is it like, okay, no, now I'm finally going to fall back down now. I've had enough. Got 40 minutes on the hour candle. This could close through. See how the TDI is starting to hook and move up. Still very much in a selling condition because you are in a downtrend. But it's correcting out of that zone for the moment. Same thing starting to form here on the 4 hour. You're going to have to wait almost 3 hours though, so anything can happen. son of a bitch. GJ. I salute you. Right in that chop. Divergent. Should have took better notice to this maybe. But again, it's been falling. I don't want to go against that. But at some point, maybe you just have to be like, look, read the market for what it's saying. Came back, broke the zone, shown weakness in the zone. In this candle, is there, potential to get long? Yeah, here and here. But I don't want to trade it long. I want to try to stay short. EA moving nicely. It's too hard to trade this pair just because. But again, you can make money in the chop. It's just so like up and down, up and down. Is it going to break this level? Is it not? I was hoping for EA to break out this week. I'm waiting for the monster on this, and when this thing starts moving, it's going to rip. And when it rips, I'm going to try and make a lot of money on this pair. It's just not breaking right now in any direction that I can really start to capitalize on it. I'm telling you, if this thing closes down here today or whatever and falls through, I'm looking for the big money on it. I'm just waiting for it to start a trend. Retesting this high potentially here on GU. So I broke above it. Now you want to see what happens as it hits here. Obviously, again, price is not exact. So somewhere in this area, if it comes down, consolidates and then breaks through and shows more potential to the downside, as you see, like it's starting to like curl over, you could potentially start to see like a free fall, but that's not for certain yet. This definitely took the stops out of anybody who was above here. People are taking profits now, which is why this thing is falling. You're also diverging here on the 5-minute on this double top. You can see this high is this high is lower. Could hold this trend line and continue, which would be like a break and retest of this level and then a push. Retest back to this 200. Hold, continue. I'd like to be seeing it come lower. But again, just because it's in a downtrend, if it's correcting, then the trend isn't down for the moment intraday. This trend line is still just firing right up, and you can see how it kind of like moved to it and then like just pushed up. Dollar index. Again, divergent double bottom. Now it's a little bit divergent on a 5-minute too. It's not clean. Florida COVID cases at long-term care facilities hit record. OPEC, Russia, not yet discussing extending record oil cuts in August. So yeah, there's definitely some news that could be affecting pound Michael. You could see it kind of was coming out 22 minutes ago. definitely could be what's moving the market a little bit. Let's see. Stock market's like, what coronavirus? What riots? Beat Street, look at the rejection. See what happens in 4 minutes. Oh, I'm so salty today, man. Nice structure on EA on the 1 minute. Just making lower lows and higher lows. No. Making lower lows and lower highs. Nice and clean. Divergent at the top, breaks down, breaks out right here, comes down. You could look at this whole section if you want. Like, doesn't have to be just like this. It's like whole section, whole section. It's just clean structure. Maybe EA in its disorganization was actually cleanest on this 30 minute where we saw this really nice candle right here at 9 o'clock. Now you haven't hit take profit on it because this was like, 20 something pip stops, so you need 50. So obviously that's not what you would do, but if you like this structure, then from 9 o'clock on, start looking in these lower time frames to see if you can find a confirming structure, So here's 9 o'clock, pulls back. Is it this one? Nah, that might have stopped you out, but that's potentially a good one. Maybe you need to be above this because this was like the igniter. See, that's what I don't know. Hindsight. Can't pick in hindsight. Comes back up here, 839. Yeah, maybe nowhere clean to get in unless you took that whole candle. But the pair is just too choppy for me to trade. Getting a little bit of rejection here. Divergence continuing. See how structure holds because clearly it's still making uptrending structure on GU. Higher high, higher low, higher high. See what happens in here as you hit this level again. You see, hit this level, found it, couldn't break the high, so now it's starting to taper off. Let's give it some more time and see what happens. EU's chopping. GJ kind of whipsaw, a little bit up, a little bit down. See how that closes. AU ugly. So GU, is the cleanest as far as like structure. Just correcting. And again at 12 o'clock, 12:30, Powell testifies. I don't know if that slows up the market here. Maybe this was just a push and maybe it slows it up until then in like 2 hours. $30 on GU. Impulse. impulse up, hold, impulse up, still rising, still every bit of potential to go higher. See what happens as it chops here. It's probably what it's going to do. Push up like this and then maybe go sideways a little bit. We'll see. Maybe not, but that would make sense to me after a huge push like this. Plenty. Oops, that's the wrong one. Almost maxed the ADR. ADR high 71. So you're you're like 31 pips as it's trying to move higher. Holding the trend line here in a 5 minutes. This is what I was talking about. Sometimes you see it instead of crossing through, trend line keeps rising, price keeps rising, just like cradle. Man, complete miss today. What a move. Up and out of the zone. Again, I didn't want to take it long. Trying to stay with the trend, and then in here was the impulse correction, more continuation to the upside. So again, had I been more open-minded about wanting to stay with that impulse out, then maybe I could have took a long entry, but EU is too slow and choppy right now to even take any position on. GJ is just a complete madman. Ugh. Bummer. I had a feeling that this was going to happen today. Your 2 candle right here. Say you get in at 15. Your stop is down at like, even if it was 15 pips at like 2300. You're pretty much out of the trade right now at 2R. Depending on your entry and stop loss parameter. If you were continuing with the impulse and you're seeing it as impulse correct continuation on this, just like up and out, comes back right in here, you're looking to get long again. But I didn't want to, I know that's what it does, but I didn't want to trade it like that. I was really looking to see it hold this Asia high. It just didn't. And now, do you look at the daily and be like, well, maybe you could have anticipated that you might have a little correction today after all this downward momentum. I did, but I didn't want to trade it like that. More divergence. This high is lower than everything. Retesting right here at this previous high. This is 47 pips to a full reset on the 1 minute. It's too hard to sell this though at the moment. Yeah, it's a little choppy right now. Down 10%. Yeah, that's not that great, but you're not out of it, man. You just got to stay focused, stay sharp to your edge. If you're targeting 12 to 20% a month, do you think I can achieve it? I mean, I don't think that's impossible. I think that anything is possible. It depends on your risk. It depends on your return. It depends on a lot of factors. It depends if the market's, trending in your favor. I've seen people do 12% in a day. It's certainly not unachievable. I think, it's nice to set goals, but if you stick to them too strongly, it could definitely hurt you. If you're like, I need to make 2% today, I need to make 8% this week, I need to do this or that, they can definitely force you into some bad trades. I think it's good to have a goal of what you'd like to try and get to, but you just got to let the market dictate to you what it's doing, and you need to be flexible. And if you have a 5% month positive, then that's great. If you're down 10% for the month, then okay, that's not so great. Now we need to retool and see where you can make corrections. Look at your trades, see what you've done wrong. I eliminated counter trend trades because that's where I was losing all my money, which is why I'm not buying GU. It's just a process. But yeah, I think you could certainly do 12 to 20% a month if you've become competent in your system and understand your risk management, and you have a good system and a good strategy. I think it's certainly possible. That's it, man. Just gotta wait for the market to come to you. Always another day. This is looking weak on GU. I don't know. Try and decide how I want to do this. Like, I'm just gonna let it go, or if I'm gonna look to see it fall off from here. Like, dude, it's so strong. Why would I be going against what it's doing right now? It's right back to this structure low on the 4 hour. See, it like broke and now it's coming back to it. I wonder how it plays here. Just doesn't look ideal to try and sell it. Dollar index is chopping, which is why EU is chopping. About 6 minutes left. Clearly it's making structure. It's divergent, but it's still making structure. Oh, man. DXY looks like it's going to fall. Unless it holds for some reason. Like I said, it is a little divergent. Maybe you find support here on this. Could right here on a 15-minute, you can see how like there's your RSI and your trend line are starting to meet. There's just going to be some type of reaction. It's either going to be a pull through or it's going to be a reject down. You're right up at these highs. EU is consolidating right here on this 1 minute. You can see it's like came down. And it's just like chopping, waiting for a breakout. You want to say down, just if you're, based on your TDI, it tells you sentiment is in a, selling condition. But it's just struggling, and I don't think I would want to trade that. This is just, I don't know what to say about this. Probably just going to be a no trade day for me. I think we read the market. Oh, excuse me. I read the market really, really well. I just didn't capitalize on any of what I had in my head. There it goes. Still more momentum to the upside. Yeah. It's all right. It is what it is. Lots of power in the pound. You can see EU looking like it's holding this level here, coming up as well. As we said, dollar index looks like it's going to fall off based off of breaks down, comes up, breaks down. Looks like it's, it's in a buying condition, but you see everything's just kind of falling off, So it's like you want to stay with that, It's rejecting. If it was moving higher, it wouldn't have come down and broke structure low. Maybe this was a miss. Maybe I was too stringent on this downtrend, where it's too strict, like, look, I only want to trade it to the downside, but not really taking into account what actually the market is doing. It hit a low, it's failing at the low, it's forming divergence, it breaks the structure up, it comes back down. If it broke, see, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, of course I say this in hindsight, but I felt like that's why I didn't take it short, because I said it has the potential to come up. So I don't know, man. It's just it's frustrating. It's been frustrating for me a little bit, but I think that I'm controlling my frustration well, because I'm not losing money. Like I said, I'm pretty flat this month. I think I'm down like a little over 2%, 2.2, 2.3%. To me, that's flat, because again, one winner for me is a 4% winner. So if I hit one winner, then I'd be positive on the month. So I'm pretty flat for the month. I I don't know. I'm seeing the market really well. I feel confident in what I'm doing. I'm just not really executing on all of my ideas. I don't know. It is what it is. If New York continues to be a struggle with finding trades and continuing to really not present opportunities that I'm capable of taking, then perhaps I need to reevaluate my session, or perhaps I need to reduce my size and be willing to take some more trades with lower risk, so to speak, to try and see these ideas play out, because these ideas are good. I'm just not trying to strike everyone with 2% risk, but perhaps smaller risk. Maybe I could get in some of these ideas and, okay, I hit like, I hit 2%, I hit, 1.5%, something like that, to kind of keep it moving financially until these really clean moves come that I can go with 2%. I don't know. I don't know that things are that dire yet. It's been a very choppy market, but moves like this really, like I said, they kind of like ruffle your feathers, because I really felt like a correction could be coming after all this momentum to the downside. Just how a market moves, you only get so much impulse before you get correction, and just hasn't really corrected in a couple days, just been falling off. So whatever, I'm probably gonna call it. I don't think I'm gonna trade anything. Full reset. I don't know. This is what it is. Yeah, EA, that 30-minute candle right here, just clean, down, down, down. Clearly like falling off. Again, choppy, but we said we can make money in chop, Look like it was falling nicely. What we say, 25 pip, I think, and you needed like 50. So you're a little over 1R now. Maybe be at like 30 something, depending on stop. And so yeah, this might have, it is the ugliest chart, but this might have been the cleanest move with the overall trend that we were been talking about. We like it to the downside because overall it's in a downtrend. So trying to stay with that direction. Whatever. It's only one day. I will not remember this day months down the line. Unfortunate. Big moves on the pound. Pound with the strength, man. Really, really strong. EU, some news just broke about Brexit. I'm sure that would make the pound move a little bit. It's still divergent. I don't know if I could sell it from here. That just doesn't seem smart or wise. She's just moving higher, higher, higher. You're breaking levels, breaking out. I don't know how wise it is to like, I don't know. I really don't know. This is why divergence can really bite people in the ass. Sure, it's divergent, but structurally it's still making higher highs and higher lows. So you have to wait for price to flatten out and start to show you downtrending structure, and then you need confirmation. Otherwise, it's just going to keep moving up on you in this instance. But what can you do? You can see how GBP is much stronger than Euro, as Euro is just chopping. It's also not as clear as a trend, but the pound is just stronger. Look at that, just boop. I don't know. I don't know that I want to short it now after all this correction that it's done. Nice move right here too, 2 candle. You know you're going to at least try and check these highs, if not come to this reset. 2 candle right here at 10:05. If you're feeling it. 13 pips or so, maybe 14. You're well over your 28 that you need. Look, I mean, I went almost 50. Stops at the bottom because you know that if it's going to continue higher, it's not going to break this low. It's going to create structure somewhere else, and it does right here. This is your next structure. Pushes, consolidates, breakout right here. Moves higher, holds the trend line. F-U-C-K. Well, I think that's going to be it. I'm not inclined to short this. I don't think. That just seems foolish. There's too much momentum. 5-minute on EU. Trying to clear this zone. See how it's holding into this buy area. You're above your trend line. You're above your liquid 50. I don't feel confident enough to buy this position because EU is just very, very choppy. I would be afraid I would have to be all the way down here, in my opinion. You know, I don't know if I could just put it right under this structure unless it really engulfed. And then I took something like 15, but then I would need 30, which means I would need it to practically run the ADR high. Clearly, if the dollar index is going to keep falling, as it looks like it's falling, and this TDI clearly is telling you it's falling, then you would like to see this 2 candle, or yeah, see how it's breaking up. You'd like to see this actually be a good entry long if you are inclined to follow. You know what I mean? And then maybe it comes back into these highs, into this full reset back up here. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I want to trade it like that, but you can see the potential. You come up, you make a high, you're consolidating. Now you're clearly, see how it closes in 30 seconds. You're clearly breaking this zone. This should be a good area where price should not come back to, because if it is indeed going to come higher, as the dollar index does look like it's falling, then that should be safe. I don't think I can trade like that though. Again, 12:30, I think you have Powell testifying, could hold the market up for another hour and a half. But you could see the potential for a long here if you're following the DXY falling and Euro would be rising. So it would be like this. I don't know. Maybe under the pins like this. I'm really not sure. I don't know that I could put it right under the body. Maybe you could. Look at this TDI. Really nice. Maybe you could put it in for like 12. Try and snag 24 out of it. Right here. I don't know. I don't know that that's wise. But yeah, you can see DXY is just, this is a free fall. You can see how it's liquid 50 TDI RSI, that's falling. And the same here. Liquid 50 trend line, RSI rising. So maybe that's an igniting candle. Clears the zone, stop underneath, and then try and get it to go 2R. It might go. I don't know if I could put money on that. I don't know if I feel that confident. I'm sure it'll go. Well, I can't say that. I'm not sure it'll go because I'm not, because I'm not trading it. I'm sure it goes. And I'm like, oh, look, I just called an idea. I don't know that it's going to go, though. It's just why I'm not taking it. It's too choppy for me. You can see the double rejection here as we peel out a little bit on the 15-minute. You still got 3.5 minutes in this candle, but you can see it's trying to come higher, man. A little fishy. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna let that one go by. If it goes, it goes. But I think I'm just gonna let it be. I don't think there's any need for me to get into that because there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees it doesn't come all the way. I'm not taking a 26 pip stop. If I was gonna take it, I'd like to try and take it in here for like 12, something like that. If you're getting in now, if you were waiting, then it makes it even lower. It's just, I don't know. It's too uncertain for me. It does look like it has potential, but potential is not a guarantee of anything. Starting to fail here on GU. More divergence, double tops, but this is lower, kind of falling off. Again, I need structure to start to form. Downtrending structure, and then maybe I could take a short. Just don't know if that's wise with all this momentum to the upside. I don't know if it's wise to try and take a short. Even though the overall trend is short, I don't know that's wise. Oh my goodness. Hello there. Wow. Bang. There you go. Starting to move. Pull back a little bit. Starting to push off. Let's see how it closes. Yeah, because again, if the dollar index is going to fall, and it looks like it's falling, certainly looks like it's falling, then EU is going to rise. But again, it's just probabilities, never a guarantee. I really would love to see this actually just stop rising and then fall. You can see the divergence really kicking in here from even just here to here, you know. But I think you guys can already see what we should be drawing. Ascending channel. Breakout here on a 15-minute. On EU, see how it chopped and then this candle broke up. See if it just has momentum and continues in the next one, or if it kind of goes sideways. Like retests the zone sideways. That's why I was like, it looks probable to go higher, and it still might go higher, but I don't want to let my frustrations guide my trading. This isn't ideally how I'd want to trade that. Now it might work, and that's fine. I'd still like to try and catch a short on this, but I don't know that that's not dumb after all that upward momentum, but again, that might just be contradictory to what we were saying. Because like if the dollar index is falling, then you might just continue to see this move higher. Same with EU. Just sitting. But again, liquid 50 rising, trendline rising, RSI rising, and like upward momentum leads you to believe that there's probability to the upside. It's not a guarantee. Same here. Same exact thing. Rejecting a little bit. Still falling. GJ is just a madman. This is a really nice breakout right here. Push, pull back, and then push up. Clears this zone. Entry. Stop. On. 11 o'clock hour. Look at that hour candle. How damn. Strong. Igniting. You might see some pullback off of this. Maybe not. AU. Pushing up. EU. Pushing up. GJ. We know the GJ story. Look at that hour. Oh my goodness, man. That's just ridiculous. Yeah, he's just kind of dinking and dunking. Clearly in profit. if you're in the position. 2R for me is the goal. You need to get up, you know, and I was looking at it like I could have got in when it was pulled back here. When it was pulling back like this down here, I was looking at entries. I think on mine it was like, what was it? I'm trying to remember what it was saying. I think it was like 20 or like even 18, something like that. I saw one at 26. I saw another one maybe at like 22 with a stop at like 10. I was looking at like 10 to 14 pips for a stop. And I was like, wow, yeah, because I remember it was like almost 3 standards, and I was like, wow, that's like a lot. I don't even know if I could get that off, but I mean, I guess I could. It's 2% of my account. So yeah, I mean, if I got in at like 23, I'd be up like 13 right now. 23 would have stopped at 10, would have been 13. So 26 and 20, I would need to get to 46, and it got as high as 41 because of the spread. So I would have been 5 pips short of like a take profit. But it still has momentum. It's still not completely done yet. So, but I didn't take the position. So it's all hyperbole at this point. This is starting to look weak, but I don't think I can sell it. You can see how it's just like kind of falling under, but there's still potential for it to like hit a support and push. It's just at ADR right here. ADR is like 71. This is a huge candle on the hour. I'd like to see it like correct down, and maybe I could take a sell back into trend on this like correction off of this push. But he's got so much momentum. I can't. That's like calling a top, which I'm trying not to do. This thing is just. If I was going to trade anything, I'd be better have traded this, obviously. This would have been a wiser trade, clearly. You see what it's doing. You see what its counterpart is doing, which is falling. As this is free falling, you anticipate that EU, which is the opposite of dollar index. Anybody get on this EU trade? Anybody like what we were looking at? I can't go against this momentum on GU. It just does not seem like the right move. And again, the play would have been if any, would have been GU way earlier or EU right here. Even if I pulled the trade here, I'd be up like, you know, a couple $100, $300, something like that. Just like, okay, bang, banked it, see ya, get out. Even if I took 1% risk, you know. I thought about that too. I thought about just chopping down my size. This pullback was beautiful, man. It gave you like a really, really sweet potential entry with a stop of like, yeah, 10 pips. And then it almost got out at the 20. But whatever. I think that's it. I'm going to slide out of here. So hopefully tomorrow shapes up better. Good day. Feel like I saw the market well, but I was very stuck in my ways with GU trying to short it because I didn't want to go against the trend, even though I saw what was happening. And sometimes it be, you know, sometimes like that. But that's it. I'm gonna slide out of here. Thank you for being on. I hope you got some value out of this. If you're trading for the rest of the day, good luck. If you're coming back tomorrow, you know where I'll be. 8:30, same time, same place. Appreciate you all. Have a great day. Adios. Peace.